Hi students, I'm going to demonstrate even wash, which is basically what you'll be doing when you do any kind of a scale that's step by step. So I'm going to be doing a step-by-step scale, and it's also an example of even wash. Even wash is fast, it involves flat brushes, and it has no streaks ideally, no puddles, no edges, no blotting. It's a total trial and error experience. It needs to be done over and over and over, just like anything in watercolor. And then I'm going to do a wet and wet blended scale. That's something you always are going to do in watercolor also. In realism and abstraction, it doesn't matter. The techniques are the same. And even wash is one of the most difficult, and wet and wet is one of the other most difficult. It's different than doing really loose kind of backgrounds and cauliflowers for a decorative sort of or an interesting element to look at. It's more controlled. So the most important thing you want to have, and excuse this nasty palette I just found, this one's going to be the step-by-step. This one's going to be wet into wet. And you can do wet into wet with any color, any value, and wet can be a color or value into blank paper, or it can be into two different colors or values. When you're doing even steps, you're going to leave the end one blank. So you're going to label this white paper, and then it's going to be light gray, medium gray, dark gray, and black, or any other color you're doing. But in the case of preparing for a black and white painting, this is your exercise. Also, you always want to have a piece of scratch paper handy to test your values. So this is going to be the scratch paper. I'm going to set aside the wet and wet one for now and just do the regular. If you do your scale or any drawing with a line in watercolor with a yellow carbon or slightly in pencil, it's a lot better. I made it a little darker here so you could see. And the main thing to see here is that notice how the black is not black. Watercolor is not meant to be used like acrylic or even gouache. It's transparent, so even your black is going to be a dark gray. So I wanted to show you a little bit over here and what to do on the scratch paper. Always making sure it's the right side. Okay, so first thing always, lots of water, lots of water, lots of water, water in here. Move it around, and I'm going to see what I have on here right now. This is all about controlling the amount of water in your brush, how much your brush can act as a sponge, what you can do to squeeze out excess if need be. So I'm testing this brush, and I'm seeing what it does. Now I'm seeing this blob on the bottom. We don't want that. So maybe I need to squeeze out a little water, but I don't want it too dry. That looks pretty good. That's an even wash. There is a little puddle on the end, but the point of even wash is to go really fast and not be too dry and be able to lift just enough so that the brush picks up the puddle. See, that one was better. I'm going to try a different brush. See what that one does. Some brushes are better than others for even wash. Still feels a little wet, but not too shabby. I've got some puddles. So sometimes instead of blotting the brush or squeezing it out, just go like this on a piece of paper a little and then try again. I actually really dig this one. I'm thinking this could be 2 and this could be 3. But in here it's hard to tell. That's why we always have a tester. If you were using acrylic, you could see the values in here, but in this case we have to test. I want to get to black in 5 steps. So on the scratch paper, let's say that's a, I'll just put it up here. Let's say this is a light gray, and let's say this is a medium gray. So far so good. Put a little more black in here. Test it out. Dark gray. I'm pretty pleased.